Alright, what's up everyone? So welcome back to part 2 of whatever the fuck this series is called. Since the last part I've made a couple of changes off video. First thing I did was I fixed this building here because I noticed while editing the last video that I actually got these buildings mixed up. It's actually here, not here, so I went ahead and fixed that. I also changed the colour of the doors that need Ashley. They're now represented by pink. This door here that leads to the cabin fight, that one's obviously pink now. And then on this small building in the village, this new little building here, you would boost Ashley up through the window and she'd be able to open it from the other side. And then I also added a boost up Ashley spot right here, up this little pathway. Something else I've done is added some rubble to this spot right here. So then that way when you reach this area, you have to go up the stairs and go through the building in order to get through it. But I said in the last video that I wanted to have enemies here, so I figured if I added rubble here, blocked it off, that way then you'd be forced to go through the building and actually engage with the enemies. But besides that, I haven't really done much tweaking since the last video. But you may notice that I've actually started expanding this spot right here because I want to do a lot of little side areas in this first area here, because we added this area here and then the shortcut that would lead back to the beginning of the game, but I felt like it needed more stuff, so I'm going to expand it a little bit, add some side areas. And so obviously first thing I've done is I've made a little space here behind the building. It used to be blocked off, but now you can access behind it by going down these little sections here. I was thinking that maybe when you get attacked in the house, like all the ganados could be surrounding the building and stuff, so that could be cool. I'm also going to add a locked gate here, which you will need to open from the other side. And I also want to add a path in this little building here, like a hole in the wall in that little building, and it leads to a new area. So I'm going to add this here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it lead all the way to under the bridge. I think that would be really cool if you could actually go under the bridge. I don't mean in the water, but there could be like a little cliff edge that you can go along, and I'm actually going to have it connect all the way back to this spot right here, so it's all interconnected. And this spot is also going to connect to the basement of this house because I'm going to add a basement to it. And the door to the basement will be right here next to those rotten skulls. So I'll go ahead and put a door here, a locked door. There we go. And in order to open up this door, I'm going to have a key in this big section here. So I'll add key icons to the map with these little silver stars, and I'm going to put the key right there in that little space. So in order to access the basement, you're first going to need to get this key, which will open it. So obviously with a map, it's going to be a little bit confusing because obviously it's from a top-down perspective. So what I'll do is, what a lot of maps do, I'll actually make it separate. So once you open up the door, I'll have a staircase that leads down to the basement and have a big square. So you'll open the door, go left, and then down the stairs to the basement, where it'll then also connect to that path there. Something I need to do though, because it doesn't actually make sense, is actually extend the house a little bit because the door goes outside, so that doesn't make any sense. Alright, cool, so there's our basement. And then what I'll do is I'll add a line connecting to the spots. And then last thing I want to do is I want to connect this basement to this tunnel here. But obviously we need to design the map in a way that it doesn't look like it's leading to this spot here. So what I'll do is I'll take this darker shade of brown, which I used for this section, and I'll use it to indicate that it's actually under the map as opposed to connecting with the upper part of the map instead. There we go, that works very nicely. That way then you can actually tell that it's going under it rather than connecting to it. And then all I'll do is have another white line connecting to this section here. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the white lines and make it a little bit tidier because this looks pretty messy. Instead, I'm going to have these little arrows that indicate that that's where it leads to, and I'll color code them so then that way if there's multiple in the same area, it doesn't get confusing. So now that I've done that, I'm going to work on this tunnel slash cliff that connects to that little building here. Okay, so there's our path slash tunnel slash cliff. So you go through a hole in this building and it'll be a path here going through a sort of underground tunnel type thing leading to the cliff and connecting to another underground tunnel which would lead you back here to this door here. So I add a couple of door icons because obviously we don't want to make this accessible from the beginning. I want to make this a later on section type thing. So I'll add a locked from other side door there. And then for this part, I'm actually going to make this a one-way section where you jump down, and once you jump down, you can't get back up unless you go all the way around. So that way then, when you go through here at the beginning of the game, you can't get up there. You have to obviously go through the basement. But something else is I also want to have a path that leads to that wolf right there. Because like I said, but I want to have some little side areas to expand this area rather than having it be the same thing. So we'll have a path that goes and connects to the part with the wolf, and I also want to have a little underground tunnel going underneath here that then leads to another little side area right here. Cool, so little underground tunnel leading to here, little side area, and then as you can see I've also put a little black line here which indicates that you can't go up there, sort of like here where we have that little jump down place. It'll be the same here. And then there's the new areas in its entirety. So we've got a basement which you need a key for. You get the key from here, go down there, you're able to go through these tunnels, cross the cliffs, make your way back to this door here, little shortcut back. You can go up here and jump down here. But we obviously need a reason to want to come up here, so I'll add a little small area which could have some goodies. And what I might also do is have it run along this little part here, so then you could jump down if you wanted to, make it even more interconnected. But yeah, as you can probably tell, but I'm trying to make it feel natural. Make it feel like it's an actual part of the map rather than something just slapped in for the hell of it. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job here. I'm pretty pleased with this. Alright, cool. So I'm very happy with that. A bunch of new areas. Added this section here, so that way then there's an actual reason to come up here and get some loot. And you can also jump down to where the car is, so it's very interconnected. Really happy with this. Moving on to the next section, I guess. Oops, almost forgot to do this part. There we go, now we're done. One last thing, but I'm going to add a small little path here which allows you to get behind that building where that Ganado is hiding. Very small area, but I'll put it in there anyway. Something else I also want to go back to is the village. So obviously we added this little path here, but I want to take it a little bit further because I feel like there's some extra little additions we could do. So let's see what I can come up with here. So just like the remake, I might have a little shortcut there. And what I might also do is I might have this little part here connect with this house. That way then there's so many little paths that you can go up and down. And I feel like this area up here is not really used that much because obviously during the village fight it's very dangerous to go up here. So maybe if I extend it and add some more paths that connect through to these buildings like I've done with this one, that way then it has a bigger part in the actual fight rather than it just being a couple of little loot buildings, because that's what it is in the original. You just go up there after the fight's finished, loot the buildings, get a little bit of ammo or whatever, and then you move on. But this way then, they have a much bigger role in the fight. So just like the building before, but there could be like a hole in the wall that leads to a path and it connects down here. I've also added that little building that you can go in the mercenaries because, you know, why not? And I also have one last idea for the village, and it involves this building here. So this is a really cool idea I had, and this actually involves the Super Salvador from last video as well. But what I was thinking is you can get free keys by quote unquote killing the chainsaw family. This involves killing the second Super Salvador in the village fight, the Super Salvador across the bridge, and the Bella sisters. So obviously the first Salvador you get the red gem, but if you manage to kill the second one as well, then you would get like a key or a crest, like an emblem, right? Same for the Super Salvador. Rather than get a key, like I said before, because last video I said that the Salvador could drop a key which unlocks this door here to a weapon. Instead, I'm going to have him drop a key or a crest as a part of these free keys that are needed to get access to a secret. So kill the second Salvador in the village leads to a key, kill the Salvador, the Super Salvador, get another key, and then kill the Bella sisters and get a third key. And then what those keys would unlock is, I'm thinking, an area right at the end of the village. Maybe near the Mendes fight. Or maybe just before the castle. It could be like a pedestal, kind of like that section in RE1 Remake where you have to insert those free emblem things where you get the Magnum. And that could be the same here. You could get an early game Magnum by killing the Chainsaw family. I think that could be pretty cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a little hatch in this building. And in order to open the hatch, you need to kill that second Salvador. Get the key, open the hatch, and it'll lead to another underground basement thing, which will allow you to get that crest. So I'm going to add that real quick. So I'll add the hatch right here in this corner, a little red square. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this basement go under the village and connect to this building here, adding more to that interconnectivity that I was talking about earlier. So I'll have the starting point right there, and then I'll have the other hatch be right there in that corner. Okay, and there we go. There's our basement. So some arrows indicating where they lead to, and this will be the basement where we find the emblem, key, whatever, for that secret. But I think for the village, that's about all I want to do. I don't want to add anything else. I know I said that last video, but I think that's about as far as I want to go. Anything else would just be overkill. It wouldn't even feel like the same area. Actually, I need to add some treasures to these new areas. I put a treasure here, and then I put one up here where you would boost, actually. Made it a little bit bigger because it wouldn't fit. Oh man, so when you'd backtrack here, there'd be a shitload of treasures. There's like 4 of them here, plus the Super Salvador. So this area now has been drastically expanded. Look how big it is now. There is so much to do here. This is the potential that Resident Evil 4 Remake had, you know. But I think I'm going to leave it here. I know this video wasn't as long as the last one, but I felt like that last video was way too long. There was way too much padding, and I want to make this one a lot shorter and a lot more, you know, straight to the point. So I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think of these new areas. And also feel free to add your own ideas if you want. I could also add them to the map, make it into a community project, you know, that'd be really cool to incorporate your ideas into the map as well. Make it into a community project rather than it just being my ideas, you know. But until next time, I hope you all enjoyed. See you all in the next one. Sayonara.